In this video, we are going to continue working on the far background mountains. Now, in the last lesson, we went ahead and extracted and brought in our mountains and did some basic adjustments to them. So let's continue working forward. Now, to start with, let me duplicate our background mountain. And on this duplicate selected, I'm going to go back into my channels and look for a high contrast channel, which will again be the blue. Now, what we are going to generate here is a mask between the snow and the rocks on this mountain. So this mask will give us enough control to adjust things individually because snow and rocks react a bit differently. So let's open up levels, and using the white color picker tool, I'm selecting the snow and then bringing my blacks up to give a strong contrasty mask. Now we don't want it to be very strong. We are still keeping a few mid values in there, like a transitioning point. Let's invert that. Let's select it and head back, make a new layer on top. And when I click on mask, the selection automatically transfers into the mask. Now next, let's head over back to this mask, select it again and make another layer for it. But here I'm inverting the mask. Like in one, we have the rock selected, in the other one, we have the snow selected. So adding the curves over our background mountains, I'm going to add a high contrast curve to this. Now we are going to use this copied background mountain to add light into our scene. Pushing it up, increasing the contrast. Now using the two previously made layers and using them as clipping masks, selecting the first one. Now I just enabled my sky back and took a look at what color the shadow on the clouds is. So using the same sample color, now I'm going to paint into this mask. Now again, just like before, I'm going to keep sampling from different parts of my image to make everything sync in better with each other. And let's push the opacity down. Like as an object travels into the distance, you will get more haze and it starts to lose contrast. Next, let's turn our attention to the snow. I'm going to go ahead and sample a bright point on the sky and then use my color picker to just balance where I want my hue to be. Let's click OK on that. And on the layer where I have the snow selected as the mask, I'm going to start painting in this bright value. Now I'm using this to establish our enhanced lighting onto this mountain. So let's make sure we named everything properly. So that one is for snow and this one's for rocks. I'll make a new layer on top and let me just call that paint peak. Over here, switching to my chalk brush with the pressure sensitivity, I'm going to go ahead and paint a peak on top. Now again, at this stage, just like everything else, I'm going to be pretty rough, just trying to get an overall shape or silhouette for it. Just varying my pressure slightly when I'm painting on it. We need our peak to stand out and be really dominant, so I'm gonna keep it fairly pyramidal. Again, switching to an eraser tool to erase out unwanted sections. Like I keep switching between the brush and the eraser when I'm getting a silhouette for it. Sampling the shadow color of the snow and painting the shadow side for it. Again, this is very, very rough. We will be getting into details into all of this later on. Kind of indicate there might be a few more rocks going up ahead, but it just can't be only snow. At this stage, I'm not using any custom brushes or custom brush settings. Either I have my pressure sensitivity on or off. So that shape is working for us. It's quite dominant. Let me just quickly add some more shadow section to it. Again, all this time I'm still on my chalk brush. So adjusting the value of the rocks into the rocks mask layer. Again, sampling from the clouds and putting it back in. Now these values would be pretty close to what the shadow on the clouds would be at a really far distance. So we have worked on two layer sets here, one in light and one in dark. Let's add a layer mask to the one in light and fill that up with black and enable the older one. Now in the one for light, I'm going to go ahead with a soft brown brush and reveal our lighting. So whenever or wherever the mountain is going to receive hard direct sunlight, we are going to reveal this layer. And because we are painting this with a layer mask, we can always go ahead later on and come back and make adjustments as required. So let's make sure that we organize and rename everything properly. So there's one for shadow and one for light. And enabling curves, you can see that it's adding much more brightness and contrast to it. So in this video, we went ahead and worked a bit more on our background mountains, added a peak, painted in a rock mask, and in the next video, let's work on the midground mountains.